All right. Welcome everyone to the Status Town Hall. This is the edition number 86, and the date is 13th of June 2022. My name is Eduardo, and it's a pleasure to be here today with a few colleagues to bring you some of our updates. At Status, we build infrastructure to uphold human rights, and these are some of our exciting updates for this month. But first, I just would like to do a quick call out for everyone to access our blog at r.status.im. We have been posting some high quality content there, and feel free to hop on and check it out. You can understand most of the status principles and some of the important things that we are doing there. So our agenda today it's filled with some exciting updates regarding events and communities, some updates regarding the Nimbus project, updates about the Status Ambassador program. Alec will present some metrics for us. Jacob will help us understanding the infrastructure updates. And Memi will be showing us the amazing optimizing BLS cryptography he worked on. The first item in your agenda today are the events and community updates from Juan David. Over to you, Juan David.
Thank you, Eduardo. Here, Juan David. I'm one of the community builders for LATAM. And during these last few weeks, we have been doing a weekly meetup with the community of Ethereum Bogota and also Developer DAO. We are showing hackers how to use our technology, and we are starting with Scaffold ETH, which is a great project from the community, which is planned to have Waku integrated. So our goal is to create this technical community. Every week we are having these workshops that are aimed to our big event that is going to happen next month in the city of Medellin, which is our hackathon. Can we continue to the next slide? The dates for that is going to be July 1st to the 3rd is our second version of Fork the System. This is a hackathon created by us, funded by us, but we're calling different projects to support the building of our open source technical community in LATAM. We're going to have the Graph, the Ethereum Foundation is involved as well. And in the city of Medellin, in this second version, we hope to get 80 hackers to submit their projects. In the next slide, you can see a small video of the team. We are working to invite as much people as possible. This is going to be a free event, so hackers just need to attend, just to fill the form. And if they are selected, they are going to be part of this hackathon where Waku is like the main tool that we want to teach people how to use. We have a team of local people helping us to get more developers into the Web3. And we are excited to have our second version. And this is on the road to DEFCON. I'm also very active in the building of the community of the event that we are going to have in Colombia, which is DEFCON, which was announced this week, June 6th. So check all the details on the DEFCON website, and Status is actively funding public goods, and this is going to be important in the short term. Thank you, Eduardo.
That's very nice, Juan David. And what's the current feedback you're getting so far about this?
We are super excited to see a lot of people transitioning from the Web 2 to the Web 3 development. So seeing that excitement and seeing that interest motivate us to do these weekly events with the hackathon as a way for hackers to practice all what they have learned in the events that we are having. This is sponsored by Status, and this is the way that we give value to the community. So we empower them in order to fork the system to create new ways to build the apps using our infrastructure in that goal.
And are you seeing lots of good talents on Latin America for Web3 developers?
Definitely, definitely. One of the main prizes of this hackathon is a ticket to the road to DEFCON. So what we're doing is creating a committee or a set of judges that they evaluate the most talented teams, and we want to guide them in order to take advantage of what's going to happen in the region, which is DEFCON that is coming to LATAM. Colombia was chosen, but we want to bring people from Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, and everywhere. So we also have plans to be uh, helping and being sponsoring different events during LATAM. So not only to focus on the local community, meaning local Colombia, but more on the regional aspect of having more hackers join into this movement.
This is very nice, Juan David. Thank you very much for bringing these updates.
You're welcome.
Next item on our agenda are some updates regarding the Nimbus project. And just for give everyone some context, Nimbus is a very light client implementation for Ethereum 2, the lighter in the world actually. And we have some great news for Nimbus this month. And the first good news is that last week, Nimbus successfully transitioned to proof of stake on the Robston testnet on the path to merge on the mainnet in a few months' time. Other good news is that the usage of Nimbus has also grown a lot across the staking services in the last 6 months. In the last 6 months, Nimbus representation grown from 5% to nearly 10%, and that's great. We are very happy with this. And on the Rocket Pool staking protocol specifically, Nimbus has a representation of 30% of the proposed blocks. Congratulations to everyone on the Nimbus team. Next item on our agenda is to show you some updates about the Status Ambassador program. Last month, there were 42 completed tasks by ambassadors. Out of the 42 tasks, 11 were meetups and webinars. Most of the meetups were hosted in African countries and India, and there was a webinar hosted by an American ambassador with 25 attendees. The percentage of the completed tasks from our brand ambassadors was 59%. In this screen, you can see pictures from the workshops in India, Uganda, and Philippines. We've got 11 new ambassador applications in May, and one of them submitted their first task on the weekend board, hosting a meetup in Uganda. And we are going to promote the ambassador program more actively through our social channels, so stay tuned. Ambassadors also help us with the translation campaign. And in May, 7 contributors, including open source translations and ambassadors, translated more than 700 words. And according to the translation campaign landing page, we've got 231 translators for the Status React repository until now from all over the world, from several different languages. So thank you very much for all ambassadors that are helping us on this journey. Next item on our agenda, I will be passing the ball to Alec, and he will be showing us some of our metrics. Over to you, Alec.
Thank you, Eduardo. Amazing stuff. Hello, everyone. Our first stop is, like always, app installs. With over 985,000 app installs this year on Google Play and App Store combined. So far, we are getting around 6,000 app installs per day, and that's enough to ensure a steady increase in the number of users, which is something we will look at on the next slide. So installed audiences, and that's the metric showing how many Google Play users have the status app installed on their Android device. So as you can see, we surpassed 700,000 users. The last few weeks were pretty good in terms of acquisition. We saw a huge interest in our app, pretty much from all over the world. Where exactly? Let's go to the next slide. And so the increase in the in interest in demand pretty much matches this table. Right now we've got a little over 9% of users from Mali, almost 7% from Algeria, which by the way is the country with the highest number of app installs in May, over 4% from Pakistan, a little less from Brazil, and India with pretty much similar results. And India is the second country with the highest number of app installs in May. Let's go to the next slide. We are now back to around 12,000 daily active users. from over 13,000 to even up to 16,000 in previous weeks. We will most likely hover around 12 to 13,000 for the next few weeks. Let's move to the summary on the next slide. So things to remember. So far this year, we had around 1 million app installs. We get over 700,000 Google Play users with the app installed, and there are little over 11,000 daily active users. This is all from me today. Thank you for your attention, and back to you, Eduardo.
Great numbers, Alec. Thank you very much for your participation and contribution. The next item on our agenda is with Jacob, and he will be giving us the infrastructure updates. Over to you, Jacob.
Hey, people. First, let's start with some application updates. For example, we finally managed to upgrade Nix. This took a lot of preparation because it was a big leap. Quite a lot of things changed. We finally switched from 2.3 to 2.8, which brings a lot of cool features and performance improvements, including flakes, which I will eventually add to States React to make it easier for people to build the app themselves. We have multiple improvements in terms of dependency management, like Gradle update scripts, or updates in terms of purging Nix on different systems, which were necessary when people were upgrading Nix. We also finally upgraded to Core Utils 9.1, which allows people to build the iOS application on M1 Max, which before failed due to SQLite compilation errors. We've upgraded also Go versions to finally 1.18, and we upgraded Xcode to 13, which otherwise would have blocked us from uploading app releases. There's also a desktop release brewing, 0.5.0 beta. We had some issues with both PR and release signing, but we have that resolved now, and the desktop release will show up probably sometime this month, would be my guess. Can I get the next slide, please? Thank you. There's a lot of new fleets coming up. There's a new Codex fleet, which is being tested for testing Codex nodes by the Codex team for storage. There's also a new fleet for Glacier simulations. And you also have, of course, hosting nodes for the Robson merge testnet, which didn't go as smoothly as we expected it to, but we found some issues with our setup, which hopefully will be resolved for the next testnet, which will be a Sepoila, or however you pronounce that, sometime this month. We started using a new feature in Nimbus, which, as far as I know, isn't yet stable, but works well, which are ERA files, which allow you to save some disk space if you're running multiple nodes by essentially exporting an archive of the chain for use by multiple nodes. I believe that's mostly developed by Jacek, and as far as I can tell, it works very well. We also have an Open Ethereum node for syncing the Nimbus nodes, which, as far as I know, is actually deprecated in terms of it's not going to be developed anymore, but it's still a stable if1 node that we're going to use for syncing. I believe the currently developed implementation is Aragon, which is supposed to be much more performant, but isn't stable yet. So I'm not sure why they put Open Ethereum into maintenance. We'll see. Thanks to Hanno, we have and his team, we have a lot of improvements in terms of memory usage by Nimwaku. So our fleets running Nimwaku should become much more stable in the coming week or two when the changes reach prod, because we've had the issues with nodes stopping responding due to essentially a memory leak caused by pre-prepared SQL queries. We had a slashing event on Prater because of badly configured layout of validators, but this isn't a big deal since it's a testnet, and also helped us improve some processor and automations in terms of deploying validators for testnets. So there's some benefit to that. And we upgraded some monitoring tooling like Elasticsearch and Kibana, which should perform a bit better. Can we get the next slide? Thank you. There's ongoing work on a help page for Status App, which isn't ready yet, but at least it's deployed and has continuous deployment, which is help Status IAM. There was also an issue with fleet status IAM, which is used by developers for finding nodes, which also had issues being built, but that is resolved. We also have been attacked on our IPFS cluster, and that essentially made it unavailable. But we've resolved that with the help from Artur, a new hire in infrastructure, by implementing proper rate limiting, geo-located rate limiting, and some config improvements. We also have a Gnosis safe DApp proof of concept built with JSWACU. And we've continued work on migrating away from Cloudflare, especially all of our internal and public services, to our own SSL proxy, which has no dependency on the Cloudflare, essentially to fit our privacy values, privacy-oriented values. That's most of it, really. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your updates, Jacob. The last item on our agenda, it's a very exciting update from Memi, and it's about optimizing the BLS cryptography. Over to you, Memi.
Hi, thank you, Eduardo. I was invited to talk about one of the side projects I've been doing for the past 4 years. During the first 2 years, I put it in pause because I was overwhelmed with how difficult cryptography, especially elliptic curve and pairing-based cryptography was. Like I have since February, I have a project that is in really good shape. Disclaimer, it's not audited. Don't use it in prod. It may eat your kittens or explode your PC. What's BLS cryptography? BLS cryptography is what is used in all proof-of-stake blockchain. I think Algorand, Chia, Dfinity, Ethereum, Filecoin, Tezos, like all of those standardize on BLS crypto. And it is the bottleneck in Nimbus and all consensus client, the thing that consumes the most CPU. Also in the future, it will be an even bigger bottleneck in sharding. So there is one of the blog posts from Denkrad from the Ethereum Foundation that says that they will need like a 32 to 60 core CPU to build proofs that a transaction was included when we will have sharding in like a while after the merge. And the idea in the future is maybe to accelerate that through GPU or FPGA, and there is even a competition that started on the 10th of June with with millions in prizes for accelerating BLS cryptography. So this is a very active area of research with lots of challenges and resources put behind. As of now, I think I have the fastest implementation of BLS cryptography that exists. It's 1.14x faster than BLST, the one that we use in production for signing, and 1.18x faster for verification, which is verification is the biggest bottleneck. And this involves many number theoretical and engineering optimization, like on the number theoretical side, using compressed representation of numbers. I won't go into the mathematical details, but this improves performance by, I think, 25% over BLST, for example. And there are also a number of engineering optimization from the use of assembly, from improving memory usage and everything that makes the library quite fast. Next slide, please. Here you can see the performance details with the command to reproduce what I measured, and there is a link to the pull request, and you can focus on BLS signature and BLS verification. This is run on the same machine, so it's comparable. Yeah, so what's next? We have in the among all the developers of high performance cryptography, so including the consensus GNARC team and also Arcworks, we want to do some kind of pairing benchmark repo. So maybe in the future we'll have something that run all the libraries for benchmark. And this would be very helpful to measure performance on new CPU because, for example, if you look into Apple M1, it said that it's super fast and everything, but for BigInt and cryptography, it's not that fast because it's lacking primitives that are available on x86 and not on ARM. So having maybe something that is so compelling and different from other usual benchmark, we might be included in things like, I don't know, the Fornix test suite or others. Otherwise, I don't think we'll use it in Nimbus right away because it's not audited. That's like the last wall. But for Nimbus, if one on the other curve that is used on Ethereum, being BN254, we are also using an implementation that is unaudited and that is over 10x slower. And the thing is, for the Nimbus if1 client, with the rise of ZK rollups, this might become a huge bottleneck, and so that's interesting. And the other use case for this side project is as a research test bed to implement and test new things while staying in full NIM. And for example, the Codex team has been using it for proof of retrievability for their storage engine. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Manny. That's huge. Thank you for your hard work and for sharing this. That's it for today. We hope you like it. We are always ready to hear from our community. So for the next town hall, please make sure to ask your questions in the Status Town Hall Questions channel, both in Discord and in the Status application. Thank you for watching and see you next time.